Now, these are things you can expect before your interview. Sometimes you first get a phone interview. For some companies, they give you one phone interview. If you pass that one, you go to the next phone interview. If you pass that one, then you get to the in-person interview. That's when you go to the office. And usually the phone interviews are 1 hour each. So you make sure that you're well rested the night before, your connection is good where you're at, and that will boost your confidence. And try to dress up, get up and actually dress up, and that will give you energy. And another thing I'd also suggest is during the interview, make sure you're not disturbed, make sure you're not in a loud place, and that will help you pass the phone interviews. Sometimes they need you to have a stable internet connection, because sometimes they have that collab edit where they can see what you're doing. Remember, it's just an editing software, editing platform, so it's not for compiling, and they just want to see how you work out the problem. And if you pass those phone interviews, you go to the in-house, that's at the company's headquarters or place that they want to do the interview from, and those are usually quite long, so get your rest beforehand, a lot of rest, and make sure you have a good breakfast before. Make sure you wake up in time. Have your outfit ready. I'd suggest have your outfit for the interview a week before the interview or a few days before the interview. That will reduce your panic levels before the interview. And yeah, make sure you're rested, eating good, and you have your transport ready. You know, don't be late. That's important. At least get there 20 minutes earlier. You'd rather wait in the lobby, but don't be late at all. And those are usually 3 hours long, or 4 hours, or even 5 hours. So get ready for a long stay there. But once you're energetic and confident, you won't feel the strain of the hours. You will just be excited and full of adrenaline, and that will help you a lot through the interview, keep your excitement levels high. And because they want to see it, once they see you're excited, that will give them as well, that will give you, I think, more chances of getting an interview. Another thing I'd suggest is a week before your interview, maybe you've gotten that good call, especially before the in-person interview, have your look through the notebook that you've been compiling for the past month, read through everything, and go through the mock interviews on the whiteboard. Now you're using the whiteboard a lot more. Talk out loud, work out each problem as you're speaking out loud. Don't keep quiet as you're solving the problem. Pretend you're actually in the interview. That's a week before, so every day you do that, you speak out loud. So even though you're by yourself, you still speak out loud and pretend like your audience are your interviewers. So that is all and more before the interview. Now we're going to during the interview. So you're there, you're excited. Remember, your breakfast is good. Make sure you don't eat a lot and not so little, just enough to last you through those 3, 4, 5 hours. And have a smile on your face, look enthusiastic, look excited to be there, dress properly. Usually software developers, you can wear khakis and maybe usually it's smart casuals. It just depends on the company culture, so study the company culture. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention before. So maybe 2 weeks before your interview, get 2 weeks or even more before your interview, get to study everything about that company you've applied to and you're going to interview with. Know them, try to know the most important people in the organization, maybe the CEO, the person in charge of technology that may be interviewing you. Sometimes they send you the names of the people interviewing you. Try to do a LinkedIn search, try to see their level of knowledge or their experiences, and try to connect a face to a name when you get there. That's quite important. Back to during the interview, try to be alert. So if someone tells you their name, try to memorize that name and try not to forget it at the end. And you're like, thank you, Mr. Smith or whatnot. So that you address them by the name, you look them straight in the eye and show that confidence. And don't be nervous, because once you build your confidence, actually preparation helps a lot. It reduces on your nerves. Of course, they may be there a little, but don't vocalize it. Don't tell them you're nervous. because sometimes once you tell people you're nervous, they get nervous as well. So try not to fake it till you make it. Fake the confidence till it actually becomes part of you, and through the interview from one to the other, usually you go from one team to the next, so each team is an hour, then the next team an hour, next team is an hour, so you go through each of them, and by the end of the process you'll be worn out, but try to leave everything at the table. What do I mean by this? Explain to the core. Don't pretend maybe they know this. Of course they do know it, but they want you to talk to them about it, about a problem. If they give you a problem, tell them the two methods you can use. You can use brute force, you can use recursion. Walk them through brute force before you actually write it down. Walk them through recursion before you write it down. Tell them about the big annotation. Explain to them how you use it, or what for that particular problem, is it O1, is it ON, things like that. And then at the end of the interview, say thank you so much, be thankful, and mean it. Thank you so much for your time. And then you go to the next interview, repeat the same process. Once you're done, I suggest you get a big meal, a big good meal, just to refresh you out. And by the end of the day, you can either do it at the end of the day or the next day, where you send thank you emails. That's important. Thank you emails to your interviewers. Thank them for their time. I can maybe leave a link to in the description for maybe a template that you can use, a generic template, but try to make it your own so that they know that it's sincere and not one of those you just pulled off the internet. So that's just to give you a scope. And yeah, mainly after the interview, you usually wait. It can be a couple of days, but it's usually under a week. That's when you know you'll get your feedback from one, maybe HR or one of your interviewers, telling you that you got the job. If you didn't get the job, you can just send a thank you email, thank them for your time. And as well, you can ask the person, when can I apply again? Because usually these things, they do go through people like that, where you don't get the first one, but the next one you try again, you actually do get it, because you're more used to the process. Maybe this was your first time, you're your second, and or you just didn't have a good day, so you get like a redo. You'll be more prepared by then, and you know what steps to take to prepare and what kind of questions they ask maybe, and so that will be good for you. And yes, so that is basically it. If you have any questions or comments or anything you'd like me to clarify, please leave that in the comments below. I hope you get the interview. Prepare. Practice. And hard work will eventually pay off. Sometimes, like myself, I didn't get my first ones, but you just keep at it, keep working. Hard work, put in the work, sacrifices are important, and you'll get the fruits of your labor when you're actually doing the job that you want to do and it's giving you satisfaction. Okay, bye guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.